Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you all for attending today's public forum for the Dayton, Oregon Tragedy Fund. My name is Kathy Hollingsworth, and I will be your moderator this morning. The purpose of the forum is for the Oversight Committee to listen to your thoughtful comments and concerns related to the final protocol. Their hearts, as well as my own, go out to everyone who was impacted by this senseless tragedy. We understand that this discussion may evoke difficult feelings, and we don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. We have a couple of individuals in the room in the back here to assist you if you would like. If you need help, raise your hand. They will come to you, or if you wish, you can just move to the back and they will work with you in a private room. Before I begin, I'd like to thank Sinclair Community College for the use of this room, for the sign language interpreter that we have in front, and the help in the public forum. In addition, Montgomery County Prosecutor's Office Victims Witness Division has provided a representative today from the Attorney General's office for consultation in the lobby if you find you could use that assistance. Joining us today are several of the volunteers that are serving on the Community Oversight Committee, who is responsible for the distribution of the charitable gifts from the Dayton, Oregon District Tragedy Fund. With us today is co-chair Brother Ray Fix, co-chair and fund administrator Dr. Gary Leroy, Helen Jones Kelly, Carolyn Wright, Julio Mateo, Natalie Skilleter, David Bowman, and Sandy Hunt. And we had two others that were to come. I'm not sure if they've made it yet or not, Reverend Joshua Ward and Reverend Renard Allen. Reverend Ward is walking in the door as we speak. Also present from the Dayton Foundation is the President, Mike Parks, Development Officer Jill Korndike, Vice President of Operations Jean Hollahan, Development Assistant Colita Hollins, and Vice President of Marketing Chris Smith. Oversight Committee members who were not able to attend this session but have been integral in the meetings. Actually, Melody Bellna is here. I did see her. I saw her, that she was not going to be here, but she is. So she is. Good. Doug Compton, Sarah Hockenbrock, and Marva Cosby. While I am not a voting member of the Oversight Committee, I have had the joy of being present at the meetings and have witnessed the very difficult task this group has faced in creating the final protocol. Helping them through this process have been representatives of other community foundations across the country that have experienced similar tragedies, as well as National Compensation Fund Specialist Attorney Ken Feinberg and his longtime assistant Camille Biros. Ken has worked with the victims of 9/11, the Orlando Pulse Club tragedy, and the Boston Marathon bombing, among others. Together, Ken and Camille have provided an invaluable support and counsel at no cost to the fund. Following me, there will be comments from the committee co-chair, Gary Leroy, and I will return after his comments to moderate your comments about the final protocol. Some ground rules. In order for everyone to feel equally heard, we request that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. While we sympathize with every one of you and the personal situations you may be facing from this tragedy, we ask that you refrain from sharing those stories and limit your comments to the final protocol. If you would wish to share your stories, volunteers will be available to meet with you in private rooms. Once the timing comes for comments, there will be volunteers manning the 2 microphones at the front of the auditorium. And if you wish to give a comment, we ask you that you will come up to those microphones. If you are not comfortable speaking in a public setting, you may email your comments about the final protocol to the fund administrator at tragedyfund@daytonfoundation.org, or meet with a Dayton Foundation representative, again in a private room after the forum. Now, I would like to turn the microphone over to Oversight Committee Co-Chair, Dr. Gary Leroy, who will update you on the status of the Dayton, Oregon District Tragedy Fund. He will also review the final protocol before we open the floor to comments. Gary?
Thank you, Kathy. On August 4th, our community faced an unspeakable tragedy that evoked an outpouring of compassion and charitable support, unlike anything we've experienced in this region. Our hearts grieve for the lives taken far too soon and the many others that were injured. Within hours of the tragedy, the Dayton Foundation established the Dayton, Oregon District Tragedy Fund as a way for charitable individuals to express their grief and to help the individuals and families that were affected. Over the past 6 weeks, more than 4,300 individuals and organizations throughout the greater Dayton community and around the globe have sent charitable gifts to this fund. As of today, the gifts received and the pledges to the fund total approximately $3 million. As has been the goal of this community and this committee, 100% of all of these donations will be gifted in accordance to the final protocol and not used to pay for any services. The Dayton Foundation will not be charging any administrative fees and paying all credit card fees associated with gifts into the fund. All members of the Oversight Committee are donating their time and their services. Also, an independent review of a certified public accountant is being provided at no cost. We have based the strategy of the Dayton, Oregon Tragedy Fund and its gifts on the precedents set by other similar tragedies, with the advice and counsel from attorney Ken Feinberg and Camille Burris. This open forum is the committee's continued promise to provide continuing, complete transparency into the process. Your thoughts and your suggestions will help us do our part to distribute these charitable funds in the most fair, expedited, and equitable way possible, as well as to honor the intent of our donors. The final protocol and eligibility as previously stated by Kathy, 100% of the fund's gifts will be distributed according to the final protocol, which will be posted on the Dayton Foundation's website at www.daytonfoundation.org starting on October 1st. As noted in the final protocol, the determination of amounts distributed depends on the following: the balance of the gifts in the fund as of October 1st, 2019. 2, the applications received as of October 31st, 2019. That also applies to the balance as far as the gifts. Remember, October 31st. 3, certification of all eligible applications. 4, review and approval of the fund by the fund administrator. We anticipate that donations will continue to be received after October 31st, resulting in an additional distribution of charitable gifts in accordance with the fund protocol. Once the fund is closed, after the final distribution of gifts, any remaining funds will be awarded to a local mental health organization or organizations. In the final protocol, we've outlined 3 eligible categories with anticipated corresponding percentages for gifts and fund. In category A, 75%, I repeat, 75% of the Dayton, Oregon Tragedy Fund will be gifted to the families who have had loved ones taken. All eligible applications in this category will receive the same payment. Category B, 20% of funds will be gifted to those individuals who were physically injured and required hospitalization for 48 hours or more. Payments to eligible applicants in this category will be grouped based on how long they were in the hospital. Category C, 5% of the fund will be gifted to individuals who were injured and who were treated at a hospital or by a private physician or licensed clinician within 48 hours of August 4th, 2019. That was the day of the Oregon tragedy. To be fair and equitable to the distribution of gifts as quickly as possible, the distribution of gifts will not be based on individual needs or circumstances. Also, eligible applicants may use their gifts however they choose. We recognize the toll of this tragedy has had, not just on the surviving members and the families who loved those ones that were taken too soon, but on the hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals working, living, and visiting the city of Dayton. We also understand that no amount of money can bring the lives lost or heal wounds. For those individuals who are not eligible to receive these gifts, we are very fortunate that we have multiple resources available to members of the community, many of which are offered at no cost. You will find these listed in the Dayton Foundation on the Dayton Foundation website, www.daytonfoundation.org. We will also have handouts available at the entrance of this forum. The application process. Once the committee has considered all of your comments and suggestions, the final protocol and application forms will be posted online at the Dayton Foundation website. Once again, www.daytonfoundation.org. Starting on October 1st. If you sign the register, you will be entered in that register and you'll receive copies directly. Eligible applicants will be the victims themselves or family members or personal representatives of these individuals who died as a result of this tragedy. All eligible applicants must complete and submit one of the 2 application forms to the fund administrator. All applications received and certified according to the final protocol will receive a gift from the Dayton, Oregon District Tragedy Fund. Under no circumstances will applicants' personal information, including their names, addresses, or nature of their application, be shared with the public. The Oversight Committee, the representing organizations, and the Dayton Foundation take the privacy of this information very seriously. In most cases, eligible applications should not require an attorney to assist them in completing their applications. They will be pretty straightforward. If help is needed, assistance is available by contacting the Montgomery County Prosecutor's Office Victim Witness Division. Finally, we encourage you to review the following timeline, which is available on the Dayton Foundation website. And you see that listed up there. October 1st is the final protocol and application is available. October 31st is the deadline for submission. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate your interest in helping this committee continue its good work.
Thank you, Gary. We would now like to open the forum for your comments. As a reminder, the purpose of today is for the Oversight Committee members who are here is to listen to your comments about the final protocol which Gary has just described to you. It is not to defend it, it is to listen. So you may hear several times, thank you, we'll take that under advisement, because again, they're here to listen to your comments so that they can continue with their work. If you wish to speak, again, I ask that you step up to one of the microphones that are in the front and remind you of the 3-minute time limit, and asking again that you keep your comments directed to the protocol and how you would like the committee to understand your feelings about them. So I ask if there is anyone who would like to make a comment, please step forward. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh. Hello, how's everyone today? Oh. I had a question first for
Great.
the end of the forum portion when the distributing of the $150,000 now for the people that were physically injured. Was that, did y'all plan on distributing that $150 each or y'all splitting that? Because I was shot twice during this incident in my legs on my sister's birthday, who was shot also in her arm. And I feel like, although yes, we did lose 9 people tragically and suddenly, and I'm not taking that away from anybody, I'm sorry for your loss. However, I was physically injured, and that pain still goes on to this day, a month later. And I just feel like that's not right. Y'all not distributing it evenly. I feel like it should be evenly distributed amongst everybody, because no one's pain is, I don't want to say no one's pain is more than someone else's, but we were all still going through something still today. Off work, my child was traumatized during this incident as well. You know, I still haven't been back to work full time. Mm-hmm. You know, the pain of this still goes on still today. And I just feel like if we're gonna do this, make it fair for everyone, because it wasn't that many people that had to stay in the hospital for 2 and 3 days. It wasn't, a lot of people left that night, like me and my sister. However, our injuries, we still have to deal with it to this day. My leg will never be the same, says the doctors, to this day. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like if y'all gonna do it, and I appreciate y'all thinking about us, but do it evenly for everyone. Everyone was affected by this. Everyone has a right to the same amount of money. That's not fair. It's not fair.
So if I could paraphrase what you're saying, let me know whether I'm saying it correctly. Mm-hmm. I think what you are saying is that it would be helpful from your perspective that circumstances beyond the categories that are currently thought about would be helpful and, in your opinion, equitable based on individual need. Am I saying that right?
I don't know all them words, but
okay. You would like it, let me say it maybe plainer. You would like it considered each individual's situation.
I know. I would like it to be evenly distributed.
Oh, okay.
I would like it to be evenly distributed among the victims that were physically injured, that are still alive, who still have to go through their physical pains every day. You never know who has to do physical therapy. You never know if people are still off work. You never know how many children, dependents that y'all take, that the parents are off, and how many children they have. Myself, I only have 1. However, my sister has 2. My friend who was affected, shot in her leg, has 4.
let me
Evenly
try again.
distributed.
Let me try again. I think what you're saying is the funds should be distributed
Evenly,
equally
correct.
to those who are injured.
Correct,
Great.
because, yes.
We'll take that under advisement.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Hi, I'm Anessa Harris, and I would like to say that I think it's unfair because I feel like my sister said, it was a tragic loss, so my condolences to those who passed away. I feel like one life is not more important than the other. I feel like for you guys to want to put me in the 5% category, because that's where I fall into, I feel like you're making me feel worth more dead than alive. I feel like on August 4th, my birthday, that I went to celebrate with my friends and my sisters, I got shot. I fell to the ground. I was scared for my life. I got up and ran. I was praying. We hit the ground. All we heard was prayer. So it's like, honestly, I wasn't keeping up on the numbers or nothing because I don't really care because I'm grateful. It's a charity. It's people donating to help me, and I'm so grateful and thankful for that. But it's like, it did become a big deal when I hear that it's like, oh, we're going to put you in the 5% because you're fine, because you were in a hospital for less than 48 hours. My arm has a hole in it. I never had stitches. I never had a broken bone. I had nothing but a bullet hole that I'm going to be reminded every year on my birthday, August 4th, that I'm going to have to live with. My kids be like, oh, Mom, your arm's ugly. They get mad, like, oh, I want to kill him. I can't believe, he did that. I feel like we're all going through something. And I feel like no one is more important than the next. I feel like if you guys raise more than $3 million or however, why wouldn't you want...
So I'm hearing you say an equal distribution of,
amongst the whole funds.
Among
I'm not
the whole
saying,
fund.
oh, take $250,000 and split it between them. No, I'm saying take the whole amount and split it between everybody, because why wouldn't you? I mean,
you're
it's enough-
suggesting equal among all categories. Fair
That-
statement?
Can I talk?
Great. Thank you very much. We will take that under advisement. We
Oh,
appreciate your comments.
Yes, I'm done. Okay.
Sir?
How you doing? My name is Dutch Woods, and I was down there that night with everybody in the line of nail peppers. That night, it took more than just my sanity. It took my peace. So, like she said, it should be divided between everybody. Should nobody be in no category? Should nobody get more than anybody? Because at the same time, we all is hurting. We all done been through something, and we all going through something. And I feel like the funds can help everybody's situation, not just mine, not the people that was killed, sorry for your loss, and not the ones that was sent up in the hospital. Because the bullet was in my arm for 3 days. I had to have 3 surgeries. So my pain ain't greater than nobody else's.
Right. What you're suggesting is the pain is, no matter what happened that night, the pain is equal and it should be distributed equally is your suggestion.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Yes, ma'am.
My name's Jerry Jackson, and I am the mother of one of the ones that was killed in the Aurora, Colorado shooting. And on behalf of Aurora, our hearts go out to you. My question to you is, are these funds going to be considered tax-free? That's one thing that they did for us, and I think they had to go to legislation to get that done. But that is one thing that I would like to see investigated.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. What you're suggesting is that a complete award of the funds without taxes is preferable. And I know that that's under consideration, although the Dayton Foundation are not tax advisors, and they're certainly trying to make as many funds available as possible.
Okay, yeah, I know that, that was something that we had to work on separately, and if that can be done, if I can help, I'd like to see that done.
Great, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hello. So I have a couple things that I wanted to say. The first one is, when can we get some help now? I'm not sure how many victims were, because I've seen 30-something and I've seen 40-something. What about the people that need help now? I was took off of work for 5 weeks, and that was unexpected, and I need help now. You know, so that was the first thing. Second thing is, I do not agree with the way that it splits. I don't know about equally, but I feel like it can be distributed more evenly, definitely. Because where's the numbers? How many people are you splitting the $150,000 between? Because from my understanding, over 30-some people, divide that by 150,000, what's the numbers? So to give one family less than 5,000, another family 250,000, it's totally uneven.
So you are in support of more of an equal
Yes, it
cost
doesn't have
of-
to necessarily be fair because, like I said, my condolences to those people who lost their lives, but I have to suffer still. I got shot in my leg as well. Still have bullet fragments in my leg. Like, that still causes me pain. Like, I was off of work for 5 weeks. Like, I have to deal with that when I go out in public. Like, I'm nervous. Like, things like that that I still have to deal with. So, you know, it's just a lot to take into consideration, and I know it's probably not easy to decide how to divide it, but 75% to one category of people versus 5% to the majority of the people, when this money was donated to help us.
So again, I appreciate your comments and take the understanding that you would prefer that the percentages be more equal in terms of distribution. Thank you. Ma'am.
Okay, so my name is Brittany Jones. Like the young lady said before me, I feel like it should be split it equally. As such as people like me who don't have a thumb no more. Such as people who still have bullet fragments in their hands. Someone that's never gonna have a thumb anymore. Someone who's 19 and has to live with no thumb. Someone who is off work for 3 months, has no income, can't get nowhere, has nothing, can't get my therapy paid for, can't get my counseling done, can't get nothing. I call the mayor, she don't answer. And I feel like the people that was in the hospital that had bullet holes, had fragments, people that has to live with that for the rest of their life shouldn't just get something else. Rest in peace to all the victims that died, and I'm so sorry for their families. But they're not the only ones. They're not the ones who have to live day by day knowing they got shot. They're not the one who has to live with 4 fingers, live with a bullet in their leg, live with a bullet in their hand, their arm, wherever they had got shot at. They don't have to live with that. My boyfriend had got grazed. He jumps out of his sleep at night because that's what he pictures. When I wake up every day, I'm scared to go outside. I'm scared to get shot again.
Yes, I hear that again, the distribution, your wish for the distribution would be skewed more again towards those of you who have to live with these psychological and physical injuries. Thank you very much for your comments. Yes, sir.
How y'all doing? I was, me and my girlfriend was the victims of the mass shooting. My heart goes out to the families. All the people that was affected by this was in the hospital. Has their medical been taken care of? Like, because I went to the hospital and they asked me, did I have medical? That should be like taken care of. I shouldn't have to go there and they worried about my medical and if I gotta pay for it. And no care source or nothing that reached out to my girlfriend. I mean, we was able to talk to Trump. We talked to Trump. She took a picture and we was in the news, in the newspaper. There's only so much that reached out to us about this situation. And I feel the steps that we have to take in order to get it is understandable, but everybody don't have the technology and all the stuff to submit all the stuff. I think if it was more easier for somebody to do it, and it'd be more better, you know, like paper app or whatever the case might be, because everybody don't have it. And by us suffering, like not be able to work, she's ain't be able to work for almost 3 months. Well, ever since this stuff happened, and I've been doing it by myself. So we behind on rent. We just behind on a lot. Like when the lady said she need help now, you know, because it affected us so much. Because I'm only by myself. We don't have not that much support.
Right. What you're suggesting is help would be helpful. The one piece I think I also heard you suggest is you want to make sure that you have the ability to fill out the application form, and please know that the Dayton Foundation is willing to help you make sure that you have the right people who can help you fill out those forms. And I believe that some of those are at the table as you came in, and would suggest that you stop there to make sure that you get what you need to be able to fill out those forms.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
How you doing? My name is William. I got shot in my leg down there, and just like what they were saying, like a lot of key points was like the Dayton division, like they called and reached out to me and stuff like that. But like ever since like they told us like what the the categories is and this, that, and the third, like I've been trying to like get counseling for like sleep advisory and stuff like that. And like ever since they said that we getting this little money and this, that, and the third, like I can't get nobody to, you feel me, I can't talk to nobody. Like, I leave messages and stuff like that. Nobody reached back out to me or nothing like that. So I feel like what do we do? Like, you know? And then I do feel like what they're saying with the money, too. Like, I was out of work for, almost 4 weeks, I'm still, like, I got to wear steel-toe boots. And I can't wear boots. So I'm, like, doing, like, media stuff for work. Like, and I can't, it's cutting through my pay and stuff like that. Like,
your life was definitely interrupted, and you're suggesting, again, to have consideration for the understanding of those whose lives were so terribly disrupted. Thank you.
okay.
I just had to say one. I also had one last question, and also I feel like I speak for my sisters in this. Basically, what my sister just wanted it to be known that we are not worth more dead than alive. We want to feel like we matter as well. And distributing the funds like this feels like we are less than, as if we do not matter because we are not deceased. And it's like, it's not that we don't have any condolences for the people that have lost. We're just saying that we have to live in tragedy still. Every day is hard. Every day is a struggle. Every day we just trying to pick up and move on. And the funds would help with that. And to be felt like what we went through and feel like we have to split it with 30 other people just because we're not deceased, that's not right to us. That's not how we feel like that our donations should be split. And
So once again, I think you are verifying your feeling that a more equitable distribution, looking at those victims who are deceased and those who are injured, is something that you would wish the committee to look at. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Hi, my name is Sapphire. Oh, I'm kind of nervous, my heart pumping. But I just wanted to put my condolences out for the people that did pass. But as we said previously, like, everybody's life got interrupted. As if I'm correct, it was 27 people injured. The people that they called to come down there to Dave Chappelle, all this stuff, all these events should be the ones considered. Like, I don't really agree with the distributions, the categories. It really doesn't make sense to me because at the end of the day, I mean, I didn't get shot, but my ribs were bruised. I was literally almost lost my life getting trampled out of the club. So I don't believe that any life is more than the other, like, period. And if we can take in consideration that the families that were deceased, they have funds already distribute out to them. GoFundMe accounts. A lot of these people have a lot of money sent to them as well. Like, I'm not putting it against them. Like, I'm just saying, like, it should be more, I mean, like, you are human, we're all human. Like, y'all understand this? Y'all can't tell us how to feel, or your injury is not more than the other. I think it all should be counted in consideration of all of us.
Great. Once again, a thought of, understanding that many people have been affected, many which do not even fit in any of our categories, and we are aware of that, and thank you for your comments. Sir.
Hi, I was down there because it was my birthday too, and my girlfriend was one of the ones that was injured, and it's been about a month later, and she's still like really stressed out about it. She just went back to the hospital yesterday because she's like covered in hives because of the stress and stuff, and like if you give more money to the people that had lost people, obviously they have been through a lot too, but you give more money to one person and it's going to help them a lot more, but the people that don't get a lot of money, it's not going to help them that much, but like 65,000 or however it'd be split between everybody, that's a life-changing amount of money. And you could help everybody with that much money. And anybody that said that they might need more money than that, that's wrong. And I mean, you don't need more money, and 65,000 is a lot of money to be split between everybody, and you can help everybody with that.
Thank you. What I'm hearing you say is that the awards could be more meaningful if they were more equitable. Ma'am? Ma'am?
Okay. Hi, my name is Bethany Ramsey. I live in the Oregon District and work in the Oregon District, and my condolences go out to everyone, and especially the people here affected and their trauma. I'm very sorry about what happened to you all. I want to thank the committee for being here. I know volunteering and doing this is very difficult. Something I wanted to point out, and I want you all to consider, when I look at what you're presenting about, especially the people who died, the facts that we know is that the killer's sister was one of the people who died. My concern is if this money, does that mean it is open for her family to apply? And I'm very concerned that any of this money, it should not be taken away from the people to be given to the killer's family. And so I'm very concerned. I think there needs, and I appreciate you trying to have radical transparency about that, but I do think that will be an insult to our community, an insult to the people who died, an insult to people who are still hurting, who are victims. And so I understand you may be holding your breath and hoping maybe they don't apply or this and that, but I do think there needs to be some real serious consideration if they do. And I feel like if people have donated to this fund, and if they knew that, I don't know if a lot of people would have donated, frankly. So I wanted to bring that up. I wanted to see if you've already thought about that, or any comments on that, and thank you for listening to my comments.
And to paraphrase what you are suggesting is it would be your wish that the Betts family not have the ability to apply. We will take that under advisement. Thank you. Ma'am?
Hi, I am a sister of Derek Fudge. So first of all, I wanted to thank you guys for offering your services free of charge, as has been noted. And I wanted to just say, I haven't met many of the wounded. I wanted to say to you guys, don't feel bad about any of your feelings you're expressing, because you're not offending, at least my family, you're not offending us. We want you guys to be taken care of in however best they can do it. Feels like a Solomon kind of thing to me. How do you divide the baby? And I don't know the right answer to that. But I don't want you to, share what you guys need to share. You're, at least for us, you're not. I want you guys to be whole as well. My question for you guys, though, is, and I've read the pamphlet, so I know what it says in the pamphlet. I'm asking beyond what it says in the pamphlet. With regard to the representative that fills out the application for the families, my understanding is it's one application per family. So if there's not agreement on The way I read it is if there's not agreement on who that representative is and how those funds are distributed within the family, that then it goes to probate. I just wanted to make sure that you guys would confirm that I'm reading that accurately, because I don't want there to be an assumption as to who that representative is if they don't represent the whole family. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your words of understanding that everyone is affected and telling stories. Their stories is very important for all of us to hear. And as I understand it, the way you are reading the pamphlet is correct. Thank you. Thank you all for your very heartfelt comments. All of your comments will be taken under advisement. We truly appreciate your coming and being a part of this. I now turn it over to our second co-chair, Brother Ray Fitz.
Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for all being here today. I think it's very important that we have this opportunity to reflect and critique what the committee has put together. As I look back over the time since the tragedy and the Oregon District tragedy, I feel an enormous amount of pride in the community's outpouring of love and support. Our work as a committee is just one facet of the community's outpouring of love and support, and all the way from the courageous first responders that were there, the multitude of fundraisers, our city, our community leadership, support agencies, including mental health, legal counsel, and others who provided the services at no charge or expense to everyone, who in their daily lives just recognize the need to be a kinder to their fellow human persons. Dayton will begin to be able to be stronger and move forward. All of you today are a part of this recovery, and I thank you for your thoughts. I can tell you our committee will take those very seriously. This group argues quite well, different points of view, perspectives, and I'm sure you've given them many things to think about as we go forward in reflecting on a revision of the protocol. So again, thank you very much for being here today and for sharing your comments and ideas about the protocol. Thank you.
Thank you, and we are adjourned.